Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of this monster tutorial. We did leave off at a stitch count of 18, so now we do have 2 more rounds of decreases. So let's go ahead and just get started on that. So we're going to decrease the same way as part 1. You're going to do the invisible decrease. So let's go into our first 2 stitches there. And I'm just going into the front loop only of the first one, bending my hook down, doing the same thing to the following stitch. Now that I have my 3 loops on the hook, I'm yarning over and pulling through the first 2 stitches, yarn over and pull through the last 2. This time I'm just going to single crochet into the next stitch, so just 1 single crochet, and then I'm going to repeat that all the way through until I get 12 stitches in total in this round. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a decrease one more time on camera. And a single crochet, and now I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the rest off camera, and then I'm also going to stuff it a little bit more once I finish that decreasing round. I just finished with that decreasing round. I now have my 12 stitches, and I also went ahead and stuffed it just a little bit more. So now for this last round, you can go ahead and decrease 6 times. That usually will close it up, but I do about 4 to 5 instead of the full 6 because I close it off a little bit different. So I'll show you what I mean. So let's just go ahead and decrease the whole time. Since you already know what that is, I'm just going to move a little bit faster, and I'll do, well, if I can. Let's see. There's 1. This is the invisible decrease we've been doing. That was 2, 3, and then this is my 4th one. After decreasing 4 times, this is what the hole looks like. It's not too big, and usually I like to stop about here because what I do is, so you can do a 4 or 5 depending on how much you want, or the full 6. It kind of just depends how you close it off. If you already know how to close it off, you can do 6 and just tighten it up. But what I do is, so I cut off some excess yarn, and then what I do is, you know, like I've been showing you when you have this loop, take this part of the yarn, put it into the loop, and just pulling it to secure it that way. And what I'll do next is weave it all the way around. So I'll take my crochet hook and insert it into the following stitch, pull that yarn, just pull it all the way through, and then I just keep going into the following stitch, grabbing the yarn and pulling it through. So into that stitch, taking the yarn, oops, pull it through. You want to go more than halfway, and then you can just pull on it, and that's how you can close it. So with this yarn, what you're going to do is just go through a stitch close by or something like this. I'm putting my hook through, taking the yarn, pulling it, don't pull all the way, just enough until you have a loop, and then we'll take this part of the yarn, put it through the loop, pull on it. You can do that a few more times, and after you do that, I'm not going to do it, I'm just going to do it once, but you can do it a few more times if you want it to be really secure. You'll just take something that you can push the yarn back in. I'm taking my scissors. If you're doing that, be careful, and just stuff the yarn back in. So I'll do this off camera because I got quite a way to go. And then once you close it off, this is what it looks like. And now we're done with the base. So what I'm going to do next is, I don't know if I'm going to add the horn yet because I'm still thinking about it, but I'm going to show you guys how I make the horn first, and then later on I'll show you how to do the hands. I might end up putting both of it on this guy, we'll see, but let's go ahead and start on the horn. You can use any color, it doesn't have to be the same. I'm going to go ahead and use the same color since my yarn is right here, but it's really easy. All you have to do is we're going to start off with the magic circle again. So for the magic circle, just take your yarn, wrap it around your fingers, create the X. I bring the yarn back down, take my pinky and hold on it. So there's my X. I'll take my hook, go inside the X, grab that front piece and pull it through. I have my loop on the hook. I'll go again with this yarn and pull through. And then there is my magic circle. And this time I'm going to pull on this really quick to make the circle smaller. You don't have to do this, but I like the smaller circle. So then we're going to single crochet 5 times into the circle. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for the 5th one, what I like to do first is just pull on this yarn all the way through, And then I know the space is small, but I'll go ahead and do that last one. I like to do that because I feel like it helps the curve of the circle, since we're only doing 5 single crochets. And now you're done with round 1. So I do want this to expand just a little bit, so we're going to increase into each one of these stitches, and that means you're going to end up with 10 stitches in total because we have a count of 5 right now. So we're increasing with a single crochet. Let's go into that first stitch. And let's do a single crochet. So that was 1. You're doing another one into the same stitch. And that was your first increase. So now you're just going to do that 4 more times and you'll end up with 10 stitches in total, but I'll show that one more time. So going into that next stitch, that's my first single crochet and my second into the same stitch because it is an increase. Now I'll finish the rest off camera and I'll be right back. The horn has now expanded just a little bit, so now we're just going to single crochet this entire round. I will not put a stitch marker in because I can just count 10 times and I won't get lose track of it, but if you need it, you can just go ahead and put the stitch marker there. But you're only doing 1 round of the single crochet and then you'll be done. So hold on, I need to count this. Let me do this off camera. So I just did my first, second, third. Remember, just single crochet this entire round. So when you single crochet your 10 stitches, you'll be done with round 3. If you'd like your horn to be a little bit longer, you can just add a couple more rounds, but I'm just going to end it right here because I don't want the horn to be too big because he's a small guy, so I don't want the horn to be too big, but that's what it would look like. And of course you'll need another one of these. So before I get off camera to finish my second one, I do want to show you that once you're done with this guy, you will need extra yarn so you can sew it onto the head. So make sure to cut off some excess. What am I doing? Okay, there it goes. And then with this piece, you can either pull it out or do that thing I showed you where you take the yarn and pull it through. I'm just gonna pull it straight out because you're sewing it anyway, so it won't matter. And this way you do have a flatter edge, but it just depends what you want. So let me go ahead and make the second one off camera. So here are what the horns look like. You can add a little bit of stuffing when you do sew it on to the head. So I don't know if I'm adding it yet, so that's why I'm just placing it here to see what it looks like. I feel like I do want to try to add the horns and the hands to see what it would look like because I'm not sure if it will look nice since, you know, these guys are like so much smaller. I don't know. Now the hands are a different stitch count. It's kind of the same thing, but the hands are a little bit, oh my god, it looks so funny. Okay, maybe I'll add the horns and the hands. So let me go ahead and first show you the hands before I start sewing on everything. So for the hands, let's go ahead and it's the same thing. Let's do our magic circle first. So I'm gonna go a little bit faster this time since we've done this a couple times already. Oh, that was a mess showing that one on camera. Okay, but anyways, I made it through. I got my magic circle. Okay, now I'm going to single crochet 7 times into the circle. So we're not going to increase on this, we're just doing our 7. So that was my second, third, fourth, fifth. I'm gonna make this smaller, and then I'll do 6 and 7. So I feel like you want the hands to be a little bit smaller, which is why I only do a stitch count of 7. And then basically after this, you're just creating the length. So I only do 2 rounds of single crochets. Again, you can add as many as you like, but I'm just going to go ahead and create the length now. So all you have to do is just basically single crochet the rounds. So I'm going to go do my 2 off camera and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished 2 rounds of single crochet and this is what it looks like. So all it was a magic circle and single crochet 7 times, and then you just did 2 single crochet rounds. And then if you want more to make the arms longer, you can go ahead and do that, but this is what it would look like. I feel like that's perfect. So what I'm going to do now is the same thing as those horns. You need to cut off some excess yarn so you can sew it onto the body. And then you need to make a second one. So I'll do the second one off camera, and remember here you can just pull it straight out since we're going to sew it anyways. Okay, so now I have all of the pieces I want to attach. I will only show one of these on camera because it's just sewing and I'm not really good at it myself, so I will just show you how I do it. But let me go ahead and determine where I want the ears or the horns to go on first. I'm gonna put them like right there. Let me grab my threading needle. Oh, do you guys like this? My friend Pat gave one to me, and it just has all of my threading needles in here. So let me go ahead and insert this off camera really quick. So I have my threading needle in the yarn, and I'm just going to place the horn on top of the head. And then, so you see where the yarn is currently attached. What I'm going to do is just insert it straight into the body that's right below it, and just poke it through a stitch. And then I'll go straight into it, the stitch next to it, or right here. It kind of just depends how I feel. I'm gonna go right here today. Again, I'm not really good at sewing. This is just how I do it. And then I'm just gonna go into the following stitch on the body, and then straight. I feel like I should be going like this, like straight up to the horn, but it's just a little bit too hard. So I just go through a stitch from the side, and then I'll go onto the horn. And then basically just do that all the way around. And as you go, you can either stuff some stuffing in there, you don't have to, or there's this extra yarn you're just going to push back up. But since the horn is so small, I don't think it really needs that much stuffing. But yeah, I'm now just going to go across the body, or the top of the head, inserting the yarn from the body to the top of the horn until I make it all the way around. And once I get to the end, I'll show you how I close it up. Okay, so I made it all the way around the horn, and now I have this piece left. So what I like to do is just kind of like how I showed you how I end off a lot of things. I'll insert my hook into, I'm going to insert it kind of into the ear or the horn part, and I'll just find that stitch close by. I'll take that yarn, pull it through, and remember just enough to have a loop. Then you'll take that yarn, push it through the loop. And I like to insert it closer to the horn, because what I'll do next is just take that yarn and stuff it back into the horn just to act as some stuffing. So I'm gonna insert this off camera because I don't want to poke myself. So yeah, I'm just gonna push this yarn back into the horn. Okay, so now that I have the horn, you know, I'm just gonna adjust it to make it look like how I want it. And then I'll also sew on everything else, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I finished attaching on the arms and the horn. So now I'm just going to add on some hearts. So I do have some pre-made hearts that I cut out earlier, and I'm just going to glue them on everywhere. I'm not going to add a mouth to him, or I don't think yet. I'll see after I add the hearts. But if you do want to add the mouth, you can, or this kind of mouth, you would get your black felt and cut it into like a bean shape, and then cut out some red for the tongue, just a U shape, and then you can attach that. If you wanted to do the thread, just get your black thread and sew that curve, the U curve. And then I did put some white felt to make a little tooth there. So you can choose to do what you want. Now I'm just going to hot glue my hearts. I'll do that off camera because I don't have that much storage space, which is why I had to do part 2. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue this, and then I'll be right back. This is what it looks like after I glued on all of the hearts. I wanted to add the pipe cleaner to the top of the heart, but I already have 2 like that, so I decided to leave this one alone. If you did do the pipe cleaners, or you wanted to, all you have to do is just glue on the hearts, and then you can add some glue into the inside and then stick the pipe cleaner in there to make it a little bit more secured. I feel like I want to add more to this. I wanted to do like heart wings, but this is all of the felt I have left, so I don't have enough to do that, but this is what it looks like. I think it turned out pretty cute. I now have my 4 monsters here. And that is basically the end of this video. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next one.